we should really focus more on this bathroom. Did a little bit today though. You can see the wall is getting much wider, so we're putting more layers of mud on here before an actual sand, because for the most part it's actually pretty smooth, although there's a few spots, but that is something that I did this morning. But other little things like right here, it's pretty easy to just take the drywall scraper and just kind of get the high spots off there. So that way on the next mud, fill in the low spots, and that way we're only having to sand this hopefully once, maybe twice. Also started to get these tiny little corners around the door. This is going to be the hardest part, I think, is just making sure that this inside piece is smooth. This is just the first one, so it's pretty rough. And yeah, it's definitely going to need more mud on that, but once it dries, we'll add some more later. This looks a little better, textured, a little more in line with other things on the wall. Let's put some paint on it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nothing better to wake you up than a nice fresh scent of paint fumes.
Ooh, yummy. Looking good. That's so nice.
Yep, hopefully in a few hours it'll be like it was never there.
Want to see what we did?
Happy Halloween. We live in a jack-o'-lantern.
Ooh.
Just need some eyes.
Yeah, we're gonna put eyeballs up in the windows. It's gonna be a goofy looking pumpkin.
It's goofy, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I think people like it.
It's got some spirit. There's just no signal though. Okay.
Where did the Wi-Fi go?
Ooh, that's very scary.
Well, I think it's time to start dipping my toe back into some of the home improvement stuff, and no better way than just taking care of a little project like screens. These are the screens from the windows of the master bathroom and the hallway bathroom. And as you can tell, they are pretty rough. You can see that this one in particular is very worn through, got a hole, and then this one, you can tell that it was partially open when we were sanding stuff down. Guess which side? But thankfully we can replace that pretty easily, because in the corner over there we have some leftover screen from when we had to replace a screen in the kitchen. So we have all the materials, we're ready to go. The only thing is just to make sure that these frames are nice and clean. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get some of this white paint that is on one of them off, but I'll see. Try a few abrasives or something like that, see if we can't clean this thing up. Also need to find a couple of these little tabs to pull them out of the window frame, because a couple of them have ripped or are just straight up missing. But other than that, we should be able to prep those and get some new screen in them so they'll look fresh. Back to some more small stuff. Gotta fill the gaps with some caulking here. Here's the spot I haven't done yet. You can see it's weathered and starting to crack, and I think that can be sealed up. Same around the door frame right here, so I've gotten this half done, and then you can see that's the half that I need to do. I also noticed that the trim right here was actually kind of flopping down a little bit. There was a gap, so I went through and this entire frame just nailed in a bunch of brad nails from the baseboard to make sure that that is extra secure, so that way when I do caulk everything or finish caulking everything, that it's going to stay nice and sealed. Then once that's all dry, we can use our spare paint to clean it up so it's not as obvious. Should look nice and be sealed.
It's time for a garden update. Filming this because we had another fun visitor last night, which is a skunk. It is the second time he's been here in a month. He's a little bit messy, but I think he's eating grubs. I was looking at this hole, and there's a big fat grub that was like crawling around, but he seems to have left like all the plants and stuff alone. Didn't eat the unripe lemons or the peppers. Well, maybe he had a pepper and then he ran away. I don't know. But other things in the garden are some swallowtail caterpillars. I had a bunch, and then I think they got eaten by a spider that lives in there. The passion fruit's getting larger. I've been hand pollinating, and we have some fruit, but they're very slow. The papaya is getting hand pollinated too, and it's got some papayas growing. One little guava. I don't know how it got pollinated, but it did, so that's cool. And then the dragon fruit, the second flush of this summer, is coming together. I just picked one today. I'm gonna try it later, leaving that little guy. And all of the monarchs are done for the season, so I'm going to leave the native milkweed. Those from Home Depot's Earth Day event are not native, so those are going bye-bye. And the tropical is going bye-bye as well. So we'll have more native options next year, hopefully a little taller with all these different plants. This is the opposite of our inspiration for today when we're trying to get things done. Although it's very cute. This is the state of our downstairs bathroom. It's going really slow, partly because of my travels, and partly because I'm so particular on the smoothness of the mud. This doesn't look very smooth, but oh my gosh, it's been sanded to perfection. I've had to go through the headlamp because we finally took out the light up there. And working on smoothing all of that. But the headlamp is really good at showing minor imperfections, and so I've been coming through and marking them with a pencil, so when I do my next coat I can fill in any little imperfections. I think we're almost there. I'm hoping to do just one more coat today to basically smooth out most of this. All of these seams or edges have been really hard. I've been like hand smoothing these with my fingers to try to get them nice and smooth, since the trowel that works 90 degrees doesn't quite work with these sorts of angles. We have lots of little tiny patches around the door frame that take really tiny bend knives and they're hard to get smooth, so it takes lots of sanding. Behind the toilet has been fun. We just try to feather out into the original wall texture down there. And then of course around things like that nasty metal piece that I don't know if we can replace, but it's gross looking. Cross your fingers, I can fix all this with one more coat, and then we can sand and finally prime. And we can have our bathroom back and not have it live in our living room.
I know we definitely fell off the bandwagon when it comes to this bathroom, but we're back on it now. What I've been doing this morning is getting everything cleaned up because all the sanding has created a lot of dust, and this is a small space. It just gathers in here. So I have had to vacuum this maybe 5 or 6 times at this point. It's been a lot, and we're almost there. So I think we're starting to see clear hands when I wipe down. So we've been doing a series of dusting with Swiffer dusters, vacuuming to suck up all the major stuff, and then picking up anything else that's on the floor, and then repeat. So I think we're at that stage now though where it is pretty much dust-free, or as close to dust-free in here as we're going to get. Now we can get to the priming stage. We're gonna have to prime the ceiling, this wall, and around the frame. So we'll be able to prime that and maybe even have enough time for it to dry so that we can put some color on the walls in addition today. It's happening. Color. Well, not color, primer. Hopefully it should go pretty quick. I mean, it's a small space.
Yeah, but I'm also trying to be very careful to avoid drips and lines and stuff since I've been so careful with the mud.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to mess up your excellent mud work.
We're all primed. And we've done a test swatch. We are debating on the same green that's in our master. We're a little worried it's going to conflict with the vanity color since this is a little orangey. But we're doing it anyway because we really like the green. Also, Alex painted the ceiling. Hard to tell the difference with the primer, but we're on our way. Hooray!
Coat number 2 in the dark.
Tomorrow, once this dries, we can put up the light. I'm so excited to see it.
It'll be nice to see it and not feel like I'm in a cave spelunking.
Yeah. You sure can see everything with the bright light though. Thanks, honey.
Mwah.
Come on. What are we doing?
We're going to get out of the cave. We're going to turn this into a bathroom with a working light. See our lovely light?
So lovely.
As wide as we could have it without it getting in the way of this weird little corner from the stairs. 3, 2, 1.
Holy guacamole.
Okay.
Well,
interesting. What are your thoughts?
it's giving industrial vibes. It's a little cool.
Well, we could warm it up. Maybe tilt it a little bit.
Maybe.
So the light comes this way. This design, it's very directional, I'm noticing. Because if it's down like this, it's still pretty dark in here.
It is. It's interesting.
Yeah. So I think we'd probably keep it as that.
I have to admit, not totally sold on this.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
what
a
I was
little bit
expecting.
different.
We'll see what we think and after looking at it for some time.
Yeah, because we have to consider the whole room. I mean, behind me is going to be pure white,
That is true.
not just spotty, so this should help to brighten it up. And, you know, it's maybe too much dark green at the moment, but when we have the vanity in and the mirror in,
yeah.
it should
I wouldn't
help
say
to-
it's the darkness that's bothering me. It's the temperature of the light looks very industrial. Oh, we'll see.
We'll see. Alright, let's put a vanity in here, shall we? First got this cleaned, again, because with all the dust and stuff, it was still collecting things, so let's plug this thing in. Let there be fan. And just like that, we can say goodbye to the old nasty fan cover. Got this new one. It's been sitting in its plastic bag, waiting to be used for months now. So I'm glad to see that finally on the ceiling. Look at that, we can see more of the floor. That's nice. Got everything in here set. It's drilled into the wall and pretty level, if I do say so myself. And we're just about ready to turn everything on. I got the new plumbing attached. I got the water lines attached. This is going to be a lot better than what was previously in here. It had one of those accordion style things that was bendy, and it was disgusting. So I think we've come to the time where I actually turn these things back on. So far so good. No leaks on the water line end. Well, so far it's holding its water. And the most important part, checking if there's any leakage coming out of these pipes. And yep, bone dry. All right, let's finish this freaking bathroom. We've had these panels, which are going to be the 2 walls remaining to finish. Everything else, as you saw, was done, but we got to get these cut to fit. So we need to take a little bit off the bottom of all of these, and then there's 3 in total, these 2 and another one behind it. And one behind it needs to be cut, I think, like roughly 1 foot strips to fill out the rest of the wall. So tonight we're going to get these cut and painted, at least, so that way we can let them dry overnight and that we can be able to put them up on the wall and get it nailed to the wall tomorrow. Then we just have to do little trim stuff, some baseboards and some trim pieces around this, and we're going to be done. There. We're scribing this because we got it cut to length, but there's a bit of a gap. The walls are, of course, not square. You just need to trim a little bit from, like, basically the toilet down. No one will see it, no one will know. And then this will be up against this much better.
Noodle, what do you have to see? Oh, Noodle says I don't care. I'm just along for the ride.
Starting the painting process.
Bye.
Our painter is prepped and ready. So we got all the rough cuts done. We did scribe this guy. This is where the toilet's going to be, that corner. We'll get these as painted as possible so that they can dry overnight. Then we can have some stuff to put on the walls tomorrow. Hooray.
It's Saturday morning and we're installing our panels. So exciting. I think the paint turned out quite nice. We've been practicing with our brad nailer on this scrap to adjust for the proper depth, make sure we can wood fill, and then we'll be able to sand. We decided going on this flat part was better than in the ditch. So we start hanging up one panel after shimming it and getting it all set. And then our brad nailer does this. Wow, do I know how to operate it? Do I know how to use a brad nailer? That. It's not firing any nails.
Nothing.
So we've been looking up YouTube videos. Apparently is it the impact piston?
The air hammer.
Air hammer can get
Gets-
jammed with glue or just like stop working. So Alex just went to Harbor Freight. Where's Home Depot?
Home Depot.
Home Depot. And got us some air tool oil to see if we can fix it. There's always something.
Why can't anything go without a hitch?
It works.
It works.
We welded
Demonstrate.
it. Okay.
Hooray! That's the ka-chunk we want to hear. Well, with the nailer working, we have some walls now. Got all 4 pieces on these 2 sides. So there's a seam right there and a seam right there. Although, thankfully, the way things were cut, this pattern is exactly the mirror image, so we were able to line up the manufactured cut edge so it's like it was never even there. Had to do a lot of shaving and sanding on this corner right here, so you can see there is a little bit of a gap right there. It's not too bad, it just looks really obvious against the white, but we'll be able to caulk this whole corner and it's like it's never there. Same on this side, but again, this one being as close as it is to the door frame, I don't think anyone's ever gonna know. And we've already started doing the wood fill for all the nail heads, so once that's dry, we'll be able to paint over that, and again, you won't even tell it's there.
Baseboards are going pretty good. It's quite fast.
Find the perfect angle. There it is.
Wow.
So we might have to do a little bit on here because there's a little cover. Well, here's our day end progress. We got some walls up and we got some baseboards up. All of it is lined up. This part was very tricky. Actually, that little piece was too. Actually, this little piece was too. All of it was not the easiest. You'd think it would be because there's no outside corners, it's all inside corners, and there's only 4 of them, but yeah, that one in particular took me 4 tries. But just installed the final touch here, the pièce de résistance, and besides the wood fill needing to be painted over, this is pretty much ready, although we're looking at this big blank white wall and we definitely need to put something up on these walls so it's not just a sea of white. So it's we'll need some decorations, but otherwise we can check this room off almost as being done. As I say that, we look at the door. Doors are in a whole nother project.
My dad got us a shed. Thanks, Dad.
We got a shed. It fell over. Not really, but it's on its side. It's gonna sit here, and we had some pavers just sitting in the backyard, so we're gonna put them to good use.
Yeah, because the issue is this is a little bit wide and it's hitting the concrete. I don't know what this stupid concrete is here for, but we don't feel like digging it out, so we're just making it taller.
Yeah. Giving it a solid footing at the very least, and then we're gonna fill around these pavers with sand. We got a bunch just now from Home Depot, but right now we're just kind of getting them all level. How's it feel?
Wobbly.
Wobbly.
Very wobbly.
We got 1 down. This is number 2 out of 5. So by the time it's dark, we'll probably have something.
We look like we're in a horror movie.
Is it? Is it the Blair Witch Project?
Yep.
Should I just stand in the corner like this?
Oh,
This is a weird looking cross. I know.
no. Oh, Jesus.
And again, to go with the horror thing. But we're trying to get rid of this post because they had a fence along here, which we don't need. This is just in the way and we want to put the rain barrel here. So I got that piece off, which was kind of like a mini fence. And I put this one on to give myself some leverage to kind of push up, but it's really wiggly.
Really wiggly.
Really wiggly. But it's still kind of in there, so I think it's still attached to like some kind of piece of really badly done concrete, which we've seen everywhere. We'll figure it
In
out.
other news, the shed is up.
Heads up. That looks pretty nice. It's level. Just needs some doors.
Also a tiny thing, but we had to caulk behind the shed because there was a crack in the stucco, so I took the opportunity to caulk some other cracks. In other news, my dad bought us a rain barrel. Thanks, Dad. We've been getting some quotes for gutters, so hopefully we'll make a decision on that in the next week or so. And then this will get filled up pretty quickly, but it'll be really nice to have some extra rainwater. We're going to put it over there, as Alex showed. And yeah, we could collect a little bit of water from the rain.
How much I'm panting. This was in my defense. This is where it was. It was a very tight fit, and
That's what she said. Should we restart this?
No.
Alex is really good at working the pole. What else can we say?
But I mean, it was concreted in, so you could see the...
Oh my gosh. That is substantial.
Now I get to fill that hole. And I will get rid of it.
Bye.